down in the water, but a bathroom itself that was both dry and undisturbed, even though presumably the husband had to wrangle her limp body.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to
as he
fix
moved
my
her to the
lighting.
bedroom.
Like, that's
You
a
know, with their
little
solutions or
bit
soap
better.
sitting on the side.
Okay.
They weren't knocked up.
Hi.
That bothered
So,
me, pulling somebody very
I
quickly
have
out of the tub, it's
these,
just
a whole bit
that
of these markers that I got off of Wish that are supposed to be in comparison to these opaque markers. And sorry if you hear noise in the background, as usual. I'm watching a TV show, I'm watching Dateline. But, I want to do this Inktober thing for the month of October, so I think what I'm going to do is rotate back and forth between marker and gel pen for my main mediums. Sorry. For this month, so I'm going to be using those along with coat paint markers, and you see me put a page behind what I'm working on because I don't want it to ruin the next page. I move my laptop this way and faced this way. That's better. Okay, so yeah, as I said, I'm going to be doing this Inktober challenge, and I'm going to be drawing Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Sadly, you're not going to be able to see my drawing, but I promise you it's all in ink. So, but whenever I'm done, I will show what I'm doing. Okay, if I turn my light off, that's not really that much better.
But Detective Braley would have the most questions for the
That's
seemingly happily
a little bit
husband.
better, but it's still
Was it
sucky.
possible there was stress in the marriage?
You know what? My phone has better camera quality, but I'm not using my phone. Anyways, sorry. On to the drawing. Like I said, I'm drawing Eeyore.
Friends and family wonder, was there something medical behind this mystery? Coming up.
She was complaining of headaches. I was telling her Ellen's
And I already messed up.
When Dateline Secrets Uncovered continues.
My lighting in my room in general is just not good, and it's probably not really my camera's fault. It's probably more along the lines of my room.
It's gonna be great. With McCormick by your side for over 130 years, it's gonna be great.
So
we don't use just any wipe. We use new Dawn disinfecting wipes. They're tough enough to cut through greasy messes.
I really don't like the idea of not using pencil because
99.9% of bacteria and viruses.
I like to be able to erase if need be, so I'm trying to go really slow
With the DQ Fall Blizzard menu, of course.
and
7 seasonal
careful.
sensations like new pecan pie, pumpkin pie, and more. A lineup piled so high with fall flavors, you might just want to jump in. Get it delivered at DQ.com.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember. They can use less.
Sweet goes of softness.
This is soft.
Holy
That turned out terrible so far.
Excuse me. Roll it back, everybody.
sorry. Charmin Ultra Soft is so
I
cushiony.
turned my fan on, y'all. It was suddenly hot. I don't know why that blur is there. Is it from the sun? Is it better this way? It's kind of better that way, but that blur is from the sun. What if I did?
You won't have to read that final line. Blender jar or last dirty dish behind.
Okay, that's that's
Run less.
a little better.
Before you go there, or there, start here. Walgreens makes it easy to stay protected wherever you go. Schedule your free flu shot and COVID-19 vaccine today.
You're struggling to manage your type 2 diabetes.
You're gonna see my hair blowing all over the place from my fan, so sorry I look like poop.
My zone. Lowering my A1C.
I just got out of the shower and I kind of just threw my hair up, so
Back to the game.
I just messed up. I can't talk and draw at the same time.
Most people who took Ozempic reached an A1C under 7 and maintained it. And you may lose weight. Adults lost on average up to 12 pounds. In adults also with known heart disease, Ozempic lowers the risk of major cardiovascular events such as heart attack, stroke, or death.
Ozempic helped me get back in my type 2 diabetes zone.
Ozempic isn't for people with type 1 diabetes.
Shoot.
Don't share needles or pens or reuse needles. Don't take
I fixed it. I just messed up, and that's why
thyroid cancer or have multiple
I don't
endocrine
like
syndrome
not
type 2.
using pencil because you can't erase marker.
Medical help right away. You get a lump
I'm
or
sorry,
swelling
when I
in the
draw,
back, severe stomach pain or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis.
I like to use
Provider
pencil.
vision problems or changes. Taking Ozempic with a sulfonylurea or insulin may increase low blood sugar risk. Side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems.
Looking to get back in your type 2 diabetes zone? Ask your healthcare provider today about once weekly Ozempic.
You may pay as little as $25 for a 3-month prescription.
I was very afraid.
Oh my God. We're chasing Helen.
I'm Greg Marvin, and this is Dateline.
Dateline Secrets Uncovered is on Oxygen, the destination for true crime.
The mystery had this sinister side to it.
And the investigations
I'm shocked. I want to know what happened to it.
go deeper than ever.
Was there an instant explanation and jealousy giving way to murder?
Dateline Secrets Uncovered, hosted by Kate Snow and Craig Melvin. New Wednesdays at 8 on Oxygen.
Sarah Whitmer had died of drowning in her home, and her body would be examined by the county coroner. There was nothing for Ryan, her husband of 4 months, to do but leave the
marker
hospital
counts with
and
inktober, right? Because it's technically ink. It's not drawn in pen, but it's technically
Ryan
ink.
asked me, he said, Mom, I can't go back in there. Can you go in and grab some clothes for me? And so I went upstairs, and when I got upstairs to the bedroom, there were a couple pieces of carpet cut out of the carpeting, which I thought was odd.
It hadn't occurred to mother or son that the authorities were already looking at Sarah's death as anything but a tragic, explainable incident of some sort.
There were a million questions in our mind. Did she have an aneurysm? Did something medically happen to her? Did she have a seizure?
Daily, word was spreading that Sarah was gone. Dana and Chris, the couple who...
And I'm going to be using a mixture of my Copic markers and those markers from Wish, so...
A trip and I told her that I called her as soon as I got back to her because she was going to get her.
Here's what I have so far. If you can see.
Shocking news, to say the least. Shocking news.
Dana, a nurse, tried to make
Isn't he
some sense
cute?
of what had happened to her dear friend.
Anyway, head out on the door.
Her last conversations with Sarah.
She was super independent. She would call and say,
So these I got from Wish. The first thing I noticed, because I got them because a lot of my Copic markers were starting to dry out because I used them so much. So I got them because they were supposed to be in comparison to my Copic markers, but look how little these are compared to Copic. Clearly a difference. Like, I should have known with getting something off of Wish, but I got these, and I know I can't use these in my Inktober challenge right now because they're color pencils, but I got these off of Wish, and they're watercolor pencils, and they work fine, completely fine. I even compared them to my Prisma colors, and they're fine. Anyways, enough with my rant. These are called Touch Art Life markers. They're from Wish, and I'm going to be using them for my Inktober drawing. And I drew eeyore off of Winnie the Pooh. The color that I'm going to be using for his hair is this cobalt, however you say it, this color, Focus, that color blue. Do a swatchy swatch.
In the tub. Is that even possible to do?
Okay.
Ryan seemed to think so. He said as much to the 911 dispatch. But all the observations about sleepy Sarah with headaches, was just anecdotal information, not the stuff of real medical investigation. The medical examiner would have the first real results about Sarah's death.
I'm not really going to be like reviewing these markers though, because I've been using them and it's hard to give a review off of something you've already been using. So, sorry.
The investigators checked off what they had so far. A young woman supposedly drowned in a bathtub with a damp head of hair and a dry body. Didn't fit.
If you pull somebody directly out of troubled water, the body must be wet. There's no other way around it.
A victim with unexplained bruises. And a husband whose story they didn't believe about ho-hum Monday night watching football, then finding his wife dead in the bath.
In Ryan's story, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit at all. We determined that one made a homicide.
Sarah Whitmer murdered. and the authorities believe her husband Rocky did it.
How shocking is that?
Oh, I can't even tell you.
Charged Ryan with murder.
I mean, you've got to be kidding me. Like, why would they think, why? And I can't even tell you what that was like. So
I will say though that these are streaky, like, you're definitely going to need more than one layer. But with Copics, some of them, you got to have more than one layer too.
And that is exactly what would happen. Just 2 days after his new bride's death, a warrant was issued for Ryan Goodman's arrest.
By Ryan's own admission, he was no more than a house. So, Ryan murdered Sarah, or he's covering for somebody to do it.
It didn't seem possible at first glance.
Why are you not focusing?
Him without a criminal record
there's
of any kind, there
that.
was no clear history of arguments, no problems in their marriage. Where was the motive for murder on a Monday night?
Any boyfriend, girlfriend issues here? There's no evidence whatsoever.
Then I think for the body, I'm using the Copic markers.
Not that we can find. She's running the anger issues in the body. And you're not getting a negative picture of this
Just got
guy.
color blue.
As unlikely as it may have seemed, police said there was no other
Make sure it's not drying out
explanation for
first.
death.
That will be my look
Was charged
with the way my art videos have gone today.
His family and friends were devastated.
Ryan and I were both so brokenhearted. I could not have ever conceived, nor could Ryan, that they would have had any idea that he would have been the person who hurt her, and that it wasn't just a tragic accident.
It just broke my heart. I mean, just knowing that he was feeling that grief and fear for his own life too.
Is there any moment when you think,
You hear noise in the background, I'm sorry, I'm watching Dateline.
this instant of something awful happened? Never.
I've never heard this angry. Remotely angry.
Even Sarah's family was behind Ryan. So much so that two families decided to delay Sarah's funeral until Ryan was out on bond.
Sarah's family, they were very worried about the fact that, he wasn't guilty and that they were not going to go forward with the service until Ryan could be there.
The families are both on the same page here.
Yes.
That you're forced to go behind Ryan. And you're not even going to grieve together finally until he is there with you.
Right.
The dead woman's brother, Mike Stewart, asked the judge to lower Ryan's bond amount so he could attend the funeral.
In our heart of hearts, we don't believe Ryan did this.
But 8 days would pass before the judge lowered Ryan's bond from $1 million to $400,000. But by then, it was too late. The funeral had already been held so out-of-town relatives could return home.
It was a nice ceremony. I knew that Ryan wrote a letter that was read during the service.
Chris and Dana grieved for Sarah, also tried to comfort a shattered Ryan.
And I remember him telling me, I love her so much.
Ryan was so distraught, he felt he couldn't go back to the home he bought with Sarah, so while he waited for his trial date, he moved in with his mother.
It was great to have him staying with me, but...
There's only one topic in the house, right?
Well, there's two. He's trying to grieve for his wife, and he's got a murder charge coming over his head that he might go to prison for the rest of his life.
Ryan Widmer wondered why couldn't everyone just see that he loved his wife, and that she died of death as perhaps even a medical examiner could never satisfactorily explain, but that it wasn't.
I did one,
Coming up.
where I did a drawing using gel pen for Inktober, and I did the mice off of Cinderella, and I, needless to say, did not like how that drawing had turned out at all.
Join Oxygen, true crime on the hunt for justice.
I believe you're going to solve it for us.
Only Oxygen has new episodes of Cold Justice.
Like I freehanded it without using a photo reference, and it was just
You can't skip this
horrible,
step,
like.
but now you can skip adding detergent. Fill once and wash up to 20 loads on select Whirlpool top load washers with low-go dispenser. Another way we're shaping the future of care. Garden Fresh Salad or 4 homemade soups, plus warm breadsticks. Our famous never-ending first course is so good, don't forget you still have more to look forward to. Enjoy never-ending super salad and breadsticks on us, only at Olive Garden.
When you hear cough, cough, sneeze, sneeze, it's time for Lock, Lock, Fizz, Fizz. Alka-Seltzer Plus Cold Relief. Dissolves quickly, instantly ready to start working. So you can bounce back fast with Alka-Seltzer Plus.
Sorry, I'm not very talkative, guys. I can't talk and draw at the same time.
Repair and protect with deep repair has the science to show that the toothpaste goes deep inside the exposed dentin to help repair sensitive teeth. My patients are able to have that quality of life back. I recommend Sensodyne Repair and Protect with deep repair.
Meet Tempo, the home gym with a built-in personal trainer. Tempo helps you maximize every workout.
That's not terrible.
Real-time feedback on your form. Get ready to discover what you're truly capable of. Buy now at tempo.fit.
The secret to glowing skin, it starts on the inside. I noticed that adding probiotics to my patients' diets helped them feel better and gave them more balanced, glowing skin. I discovered the power of probiotic extracts in helping restore, nourish, and soothe skin when applied topically. So I started Tula Skincare to share the power of probiotics, formulating 100% of our skincare products with probiotic extracts, along with clean superfoods and skincare actives like peptides and vitamin C to give you
Oh, my first trying to go out.
So I did something fun for me. The Elite Box from adoreme.com. They send you personalized outfits to try at home. Everything from bras and lingerie to loungewear to swimwear. They have all sizes and the fit is great. Just go to adoreme.com, take a simple quiz, and your stylist takes it from there. I never would have picked out this corset, but I love it. Shipping is free and you only pay for what you keep. Return the rest with a prepaid label. It's easy and affordable. The Elite Box by Adoreme. For a limited time, get supplies get on adoreme.com. Why isn't there deodorant for privates? Now there is with Lumi, the only natural deodorant you can safely use on your
I really hope I have enough ink in my marker to finish this. I don't have very much left to finish.
Lumi. Keep your privates private.
That's the problem with those serial killers. We don't know what it's about.
Oxygen snack notorious turn again continues to mild second with happy face killer.
Welcome back to Dateline Secrets Uncovered. I'm Kate Snow. As Ryan Widmer sat in a jail cell accused of murdering his wife, loved ones reluctantly held Sarah's funeral. The couple's family and friends were convinced Ryan was innocent. But to investigators, his story just didn't add up. And soon a surprising ally would bolster their case. A witness who had seen a darker side in Ryan. Was there stress in this seemingly happy relationship? Here again is Dennis Murphy with The Bathtub Mystery.
Sarah was wonderful. The most loving person. She's just a great person.
Sarah Whitney had been a daughter, a wife, a loyal friend in her brief life. But in death, although she was never known, she had become simply the victim. And the case could be summarized as breezily as the title of a true crime paperback, The Bathtub Mystery. On talk radio in the greater Cincinnati area, host Bill Cunningham could feel the court of public opinion responding to the story. The bathtub murder case had a cold link. For months, listeners debated whether the husband could have done it. I had a large number of callers who said to me, he didn't do it. He doesn't fit the profile. There's no history. And I said to them, wait a minute. Wait till the trial takes place. I'm led to believe that there's going to be clear and convincing evidence. 7 months after Sarah's death, the only jury that mattered was sworn in to hear the case against 28-year-old Ryan Whitney on the charge of aggravated murder. The couple's friends issued a body.
It's not like my best artwork so far. Hold on, I've got to focus, but it's Inktober, right? It's a challenge, so it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect. Not my best coloring job so far, but my marker was going out. But he's not horrible. He's still cute. Anyway, sorry for my rant. I need a peach color. Peach.
Well, the prosecution's message for the jury was one. There's been a violent confrontation in the Widmer house that night.
Ryan Widmer purposely killed Sarah Stewart Widmer.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to be using this Solomon pink color, if you can see that, for that part of him. And these are out of the ones that I got from Wish.
They
say that the caller was rather calm. Usually, I can't get anything out of them.
Did you hear the bath now? Yes, she's been watching TV right now. I was out there watching TV. She's also cleaning the cup all the time.
To prosecutors John Arnold and Travis Newton, the husband was trying to place himself as far away as possible from the bathroom where Sarah had died.
He really gives very little information about the condition. It's really important for him to say, I wasn't there, and I really don't have any experience with this.
And could Sarah even be dead face down in the bathtub? Could a body contort her? That seems an odd position for somebody who's put falling asleep. To be face down with your face near the faucet, almost bent in two.
In terms of the possibilities of how the enclosed space of the bathtub is shorter than she is long.
We're not talking about a McMansion whirlpool tub.
Right.
And so much more of the prosecution case was built upon the observation of the first arriving officers and emergency responders. They noted not only was Ryan not wet, this man who had lifted his wife's body out of the tub just minutes before they arrived, Sarah was also mostly dry.
I noticed that her body was dry, her hair was damp.
And others on the scene corroborated this observation. Damp head, dry body.
Things were not adding up. It would seem to me her body would have been wet, the floor would have been wet, the carpet would have been wet.
You're talking about the time he says, I'm taking her out of this bathtub. The time that other people her hair was
Hey, I just figured out if I hold it like that, y'all can actually see some of what I'm working on.
Dripping off of her hair on the rest of her body, the floor's all wet.
And the officer noticed something else. The victim's fingers and toes. We all know what happens to them when they've been soaking in the bathroom.
It was my understanding that she'd been in the water for 20 to 30 minutes. And I would have thought that her fingers would have been pruned up, her toes would have been pruned up.
Scoot closer.
From simple observations of the murder case of John, the jury was being told that Ryan Widmer's story didn't jive with what officers and team had taken note of, like the bathtub and surrounding tiles that should have been soaking wet at once. And that implicitly raised a question for the jury. Is it possible that the young woman who drowned had never been in the tub in the first place?
Bottom line is, no one would know whether if there wasn't, it was cleaned up. And if there was cleanup, there was something done. And that was her murder.
And an expert witness for the prosecution spoke to the issue of whether a person can actually fall asleep and drown in a bathtub. Her testimony is no, that can't.
It would be virtually impossible for somebody without the influence of drugs or alcohol or something external to fall asleep. And that
There's what I have so far.
The sensation of water on your face.
And then I'm going to go back in with my co-cakes and take this color pink for the ears.
But maybe Sarah hadn't fallen asleep. Perhaps she'd suffered a catastrophic but perfectly natural event.
Too dark.
Something to her heart, her brain. The coroner didn't find it.
Any evidence of heart problems?
No.
Any evidence of brain injury or seizure?
No.
One of the amazing things about Sarah Widmer is that she had regular medical care.
Okay. Begin with my cupcake. I'm going to take
not a person who didn't have the opportunity to interact with a medical professional.
And to the coroner, the bruising he saw on Sarah's
this
neck
blue gray and do his paws right here.
The wounds too significant and not in the right spot to have been caused by EMT's life-saving efforts.
But the things that were the most disconcerting were, the 3 bruises which were able to be seen on the right side of the scalp. She's got another faint bruise on her forehead. She's got this significant degree of neck hemorrhage. She's undergone significant CPR. However, there is no hemorrhage anywhere in the area of the chest, so it's difficult to try to rationalize that the hemorrhage in her neck can be the result of CPR.
As the coroner saw, the significant bruising on Sarah's neck was caused by Ryan's forceful drowning of her.
Do you have an opinion as to the manner of Sarah's death?
Yes, the manner of death was homicide.
And that took prosecutors into the realm of speculation. What had happened in the bedroom that night if Sarah hadn't drowned by herself in the bathtub? This forensic pathologist had one scenario explaining a damp head but dry body.
Her head was pushed over the edge of either the bathtub or the sink or the toilet, either forwards or backwards, either in a pool of water or under running water. That's how she died.
An expert also noted these strange prints invisible to the naked eye. He couldn't say when they were left on the tub, or even that they came from Sarah, but felt confident that the prints were most likely made by a small person. If Ryan had forced Sarah over the side of the tub, had she tried to brace herself as she was pushed into the water?
From my experience, those look like prints that are going down a monkey.
How do you fight back? Do you try to keep your head out of the water? Do you put your hands against the back of the tub? Or do you put your hands on the bottom of the tub and try to lift out of the water? Or do you grasp and
Here's the almost finished product so far. Sorry if this is a boring
The husband pushing his wife's head underwater and holding her there until she drowned.
Through the drowning, she had been subjected to forcibly holding her throat over some object around her.
But the jury had to wonder what the motivation could be for such an awful crime.
I will say a main difference that I've noticed going back and forth using my co-paint markers and these markers is these tend to catch on the paper. That makes sense.
Feel she needed to check everything with Ryan, who could see her purchases on his computer.
She'd buy something, Ryan would call her as soon as she bought it sometimes, telling her, did you really need it, why'd you buy it, or something. He thought she was spending too much money.
He was very concerned about her shopping habits. Correct. There were still stresses, things that were going on in their family.
But even the prosecutors had to acknowledge that this didn't necessarily add up to a clear motive for murder. But they believed there were things happening in the little house at Crested Owl Court that no one but Sarah or Ryan knew about.
Anybody who's been married or in a relationship knows that what goes on behind the closed doors of a marriage is not always apparent to the outside.
But was the prosecution's case too thin? Too much observation light with not enough persuasive hard evidence? The defense would argue passionately that it wasn't.
I like that. That looks
Nothing
cute.
to do with his wife's sudden death.
Ryan's defenders weren't giving up. Sarah's friends take the stand to share his side of the story. Coming up.
I know that she had fallen asleep in the bathtub before.
When Dateline Secrets Uncovered continues.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it. This is how we do it.
Turns out Montel Jordan knows how to do almost everything. And it turns out the Journal is a quality insurance company that's been saving people money for nearly 60 years.
This is how.
I got it. For a great low rate and nearly 60 years of quality coverage, make the right call and go with the Journal.
Good morning. Maria, getting that fiber in. Nice. The Millers, rising and shining. That's a bright idea. With high fiber and plump, juicy raisins, Kellogg's Raisin Bran gives any day a sunny start.
From the very first touch.
And there is the finished project of my Inktober, my very first Inktober video. I like it. I could have done it better. I usually go very, very slow whenever I'm drawing and I'm coloring. I didn't want to make this a 1 hour video, you know, I didn't want to do like a whole movie of my art, but I like it so far, so feel free to like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching, bye!
Latuda could make a real difference in your symptoms. Latuda was proven to significantly